Broadcasting coast to coast from Sirius Satellite Radio, you're listening to the Wiseguy Show on Sirius 104 with Vinny, Big Bussy Pastore.
That was a lot of fun with the girls, right?
Nice ladies.
Next week, guess who's coming on the show? I just got the email. Cato, what's his name?
Cato Kalin?
The guy from the O.J. Simpson trial.
Why?
I don't know. He's coming on the show.
But right now on the phone with us, you know who we got?
Who we got?
Art Metrano.
Art Metrano's on the line. Hello, Art.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm good, guys. I'm still standing, and I haven't been shot lately.
Well, Ciarcia wants to say
We're
hello.
not going to whack you, Art.
Ciarcia.
And Joe Rigano wants to say hello.
Hey, Joe
How you
Rigano.
doing, Artie?
Joe Causi.
What is this, the Sons of Italy?
Yeah.
And Uncle Floyd.
Hey, Uncle Floyd. Well, meet the Hadassah.
My wife read your book, Art, and she loved it.
Oh, I love your wife.
I
Thank you very
didn't
much.
get a chance to read it yet.
What's the name of the book, Art?
It's called An Accidental Comedy.
Why is it
Yeah.
an accidental comedy?
Well, because 16 years ago I fell from a ladder and broke my neck in 6 places, and I made a joke out of it. You know what I mean?
You
Otherwise,
did?
I wouldn't be
fell
able to
from a
survive.
ladder and you broke your neck in 6 places.
Yes, I broke C1 and 2, 4, 5, C7, and T1, similar to Christopher Reeve.
Who called the doctor?
You know what? It was funny. It was the next door neighbor who had these barking dogs who I hated. They saved my life.
God
How was
bless them.
that?
The dogs were barking and they saved your life?
Listen to me. I'm lying on the ground, totally paralyzed from the neck down, not knowing what happened to me, except they took a long fall of 14 feet and landed on top of my head. And I started trying to yell out because I wanted someone to help me, and my tongue was stuck in the back of my throat. So I started making noises like, and I sounded like Lou Ferrigno. And all of a sudden the dogs are barking, and this lady comes out and yells, "Art, is that you?" And I said, "Yeah, Patty, help me, I'm paralyzed." And she said, "Okay, Art, take it easy. I'm calling 911. Don't move."
Wow.
Well, where were you going to go anyway?
Hey, that's exactly why it was called an accidental comedy.
That's great.
So
But
then
how
I'm a
you
lucky
felt?
guy, then. I fell 14 feet off a ladder. I only broke 2 ribs.
Because your
Really?
fat
Yeah.
saved you.
Oh!
But listen, wait a minute. Art,
Oh!
I want to ask Art.
Hey.
Oh, come on. It's a joke.
It was a joke.
Art, listen.
Hey.
Correct me if I'm... were you on the Johnny Carson show?
Oh, the guy made my career.
That's
I was
right.
on it like maybe 8, 9 times. He loved my act because he loved the amazing Metrano magician routine.
That's
that I
right.
used to do.
I was going to say,
Now,
but
how would people know who you are? From what?
Well, they know me from all those Police Academy movies that I starred in, and of course,
you stole those pictures.
I did pretty good. I did good.
He played Mauser in the
That's
police
right,
academy.
Mauser. Who's this, Vinny?
Cha-cha.
No, that's cha-cha-cha-cha.
Okay, yes, I played Mauser, Lieutenant Mauser.
Yes. And now you're doing a play up in
Yeah, I'm doing a play. I started with this a number of years ago with Joe Bologna. You know Joe Bologna?
Very well, yes.
Love Joe. And
Joe.
then, of course, Charles came into my life, thank God, and he saw the show. I did a one-nighter in New York about a few months ago, and he was willing to come up here and just help me with the show as we do it again up here in Westchester.
Where are you doing it up in Westchester?
I don't know, but it looks like the Sons of Italy meets the Hadassah where I am. It's quite amazing. It's a place called Heritage Hills.
Where's that?
It's about an hour away from New York, and it's called a schlep.
A schlep.
A real schlep.
It's a schlep up there.
Oh, boy, to go
How
from
do
New
we
York...
get tickets?
How do you get tickets? Well, that's a good question. I guess you have to buy them from the theater club up here at the Heritage Hills community.
Oh, okay. That's good.
Yeah, it's
So
a beautiful community up there.
and
You guys,
So tell the people that want to go see this show where it is and how to get tickets for it.
well, you know, the truth of the matter is, from what I found out, we're sold out both nights. So
Wow.
And you're only doing 2 performances?
Just 2 tonight, and yeah, because Friday and Saturday, I'm actually doing because there's a number of theater groups that was always interested in my show and had never gotten to see it. And Joe Bologna had worked for this guy named Tony Stimac at the Helen Hayes up here in Nyack, and they're coming up. And a bunch of guys, I don't know if you guys remember Sam DeLuca from the New York Jets.
Yeah, the football player.
Well, he was the captain of the team when Joe Namath, and he won the, beat the bad guys.
Yeah.
And Sam and I went to the same high school together, so a bunch of guys like Sam and Nick DeChico and, a lot of guys came from my high school, from Larry King to Paul Savino. Let's see, who else there? Jerry Della Famina.
Are you from Brooklyn?
Sandy Koufax, yeah, of course, Bensonhurst.
Where? Around where?
I lived on 61st Street, right down the street from St. Athanasius.
Oh, okay, right at Bay Parkway there.
Exactly, St. A's. I played the CYO, even though I was Jewish. They thought I was Italian because my name in high school was Arthur Messistrano, so I got away with playing for the church.
Sandy Kovacs went to Lafayette.
You're kidding.
Metrano's not Italian?
No, I'm a Spanish Jew.
Wow, so am I, Art.
Who's a Spanish Jew?
Ciarcia.
Really?
I'm a Sephardic Jew.
So am I. My father's a Turk. My mother's born in Greece.
My ancestors come from Castile in Spain.
Oh, my goodness. My ancestors come from Toledo.
Yeah, wow.
Toledo what, Ohio?
Toledo, Ohio. Toledo, Spain.
Toledo, Spain.
There's no such place as Toledo.
Sure
Spain.
there is.
Actually, they call it Toledo.
Anyway, Floyd wants to ask a question.
If you had to describe, how would the average person out there remember you from your many appearances on Carson and network television shows?
Well, what do you mean? How they? Well, I mean, God, I did a whole bunch of Dean Martin shows, laughing.
No, but I mean your act. You came
my
out.
act.
Yes.
Oh, I would come out and do this magic act, and I come out and I would hum.
That's it. I knew that, Art.
Listen to me.
I knew that, Art. I just had to ask that question.
There's an animated film came out called Stewie Griffin, The Untold Story. You know the Family Guy?
Yeah.
In that story, they have Jesus Christ. Years later, when Stewie asks the father, what was it like? Were there any miracles? He says, well, not really. I remember when I saw Jesus, and they cut to Jesus animated doing da-da-da-da-da-da for 30 seconds. I thought it was hysterical.
And many times Carson would break, I don't know what you ever thought of this, because I used to watch Carson a lot, and it was a big show when you were on it, that he would break into your act, like do a little parody of your act. Did you ever see him do that?
Yeah, the funny thing is, at one time I was managed by a guy named Wally Amos, famous Amos chocolate chip cookies.
That's right.
Yeah.
And Wally had booked me on this show, and while I was doing my very first spot, and it was at the old RCA Rockefeller Center when Johnny was still in New York, I was doing my very first appearance, and unbeknownst to me, Johnny was a big amateur magician. In the middle of my act, he was laughing so hard, he had one of those chairs with the rollers on it. He leaned back and fell off his chair. And when I went to sit down next to him to talk to him, as soon as I got up to sit on my chair, I had a little trip. And as soon as I tripped, he went, da-da-da-da, and the whole band, Doc Severs and all those guys went nuts, and it was really funny. He
always cracked up at you and another magician, Carl Ballantine.
Oh, he loved Carl. Carl was terrific.
Yeah. Did you know Carl Ballantine?
Yeah, I met him a number of times. I used to love his act. I thought it was really stupid. Stupid comedy. Stupid. We called it Polish magic. Anyone could do it.
Howie Green, our producer, loves you now. He didn't want to book you on the show, but now he found out you're a Sephardic Jew. He's all smiling in the background.
For the kind of money
over there.
What is that? The show, he should love me.
Let me tell you something. When I was watching these movies that you made about, 4 or 5 police academies?
Yep.
I thought you were the funniest guy alive.
Hey, Art, let me ask you something. How did that all...
You're a smart man, I can tell you.
He's a smart guy. He's our smart guy here. How did this all police academy stuff come around?
Well, they were trying to, they were looking for a part of Lieutenant Mauser, and there was Joe Pantoliano and a bunch of guys, their character actors were coming up for the part, and, I really wanted this show. I thought it was really well written. It was written by the guys who ended up writing all the Eddie Murphy hits, and it was really a great strip. And I just came in very prepared, and, I did a lot of my stuff, and the director liked me, and Paul Maslansky, the producer, said, yeah, you're my guy, and before you know it, I started to do all these movies.
So did you think when you started doing the first one there would be more after that?
Not a clue.
You don't have that. Yeah, you have no idea where it's going to go. You're working on
I got to ask you. You know what I want to say, Vinny?
Well, you know what, Vinny? I felt the same way when you got shot in The Sopranos. Why are they killing this guy?
Hey, Art, I got to ask you a question. Did they make a figure of you? Because they came out with the whole police academy.
They did. Yes, they did.
They did, because my son has the whole set
guys, all the actors in Police Academy.
Yeah,
how cute that is.
They made little dolls of everybody.
So there's a little art floating around?
A lot of them.
Art fart.
Oh, that's cute.
Yeah, he's floating around. And once in a while, my ex-wives, they pinned, like voodoo, they put it in.
But you know what? I really, really wish I could do something. But can we do this? Can you play the piano? And can he do his theme song at the same time?
Absolutely.
Can we try to do that? Floyd's going to go to the piano. We're going to try something that we've never done before on Sirius. Because
I got to get the fudge off.
All right, ready, Floyd? Ready?
Yes. Join the wise guys.
That's beautiful. That's really, what a treat.
This is great, guys.
Because you can't hear that nowhere else. How you can't? Where do you live now?
I live in North Miami Beach, and in fact, I always see that guy. What's his name?
Who?
No, the guy on the Sopranos.
What guy?
The guy with the white. You did the movie with Charlie.
What guy?
Not Tony Sirius.
Frank Vincent.
Frank Vincent.
Where do you see Frank?
By the pool all the time.
Down in Florida?
Yeah, right there. That place called. I live on Williams Island.
You go to Metrano to eat?
Oh yes.
You go there. You see Stevie?
I see it, but you know what? It's a strange place because he treats everybody like you know how. Unless you got a hit series, he doesn't know you.
Well, how does he treat you?
I'm not so sure. I try to, I don't try to play on anything. You know what I'm talking about.
Fuck him.
No, how does he treat you? Go on, talk.
Fuck him, he said.
Go on.
Not very nice.
Not very nice?
No, not at all.
Fuck him. We don't plug
Well,
that.
then don't go there.
We don't go there.
I don't go there anymore. I go to Bella Luna. Bella Luna is my favorite. Carpaccio is one of my favorite.
Can we come down and do a meatball serenade with you in Bella Luna?
You can come down anytime.
All right, I'll tell you. Where's Bella Luna? What town?
Bella Luna's in what they call Aventura.
Okay. So me and Ciarcia and maybe Joe Rigano, if he's nice to me tonight, we'll fly down to Florida and we'll do a meatball serenade down there.
Fucking A, man. Anytime.
Now, Charles Messina, the kid Charles that wrote
Charles
the
is
movie
great,
Spy
man, I
that
gotta
we
tell
done.
you.
Now, he's directing your series of plays now.
Correct.
Now, next week is not the last performance.
No, not at all.
So when can we see them again?
I'm not sure yet, but you know how show business is. We wait for the producer to call, and hopefully I'll be booked somewhere nearby. I thought maybe I'd be in New York by this fall, but it didn't work, and I just got a call, actually, just before I left over here. I got a call from a friend of mine who was looking to book me in London, and that might happen in March. Yeah.
I love London, but it's expensive over there.
It's unbelievable. I was
Very
there just
expensive.
there with my old lady, and I
Right.
got to tell you that, you need $2 every buck.
All right, listen, Artie, you got to come by the studio.
I will.
All right? Come by the studio, and Floyd wants to say goodbye to you.
I want to say goodbye, and you're truly an inspiration.
Thank you.
really
God
are.
bless you. God bless you guys. Enjoy. Keep doing what you're doing.
Thank
you so much, Art.
And you're listening to the Wise Guys Show right here on Sirius 104. Remember, you too can catch all the NFL action on Sirius Sports. Check your program guide for all the games this coming weekend. Up next, it's a Cha-Cha Report right here on the Wise Guys Show. So don't you dare go nowhere. Hey, how you doing? It's the Wise Guys Show on Sirius 104, Raw Dog.
Homeowners, imagine an interest rate of only 1% without any upfront fees. If you haven't refinanced in the last 3 months, you need to call Funding USA, America.
Hey, why don't you go see where you gotta go? It's the Wise Guys Show on Sirius 104.
This is Ciarcia here for the Wise Guy Show, and I'm speaking to
Bob Gaudio, Four Seasons, Jersey Boys.
And we're right here at the Friars Club. We're going to roast Don King today. But before we roast Don King, I want to talk about this hot new show that's on Broadway here.
It's opening November 6th. We're in previews right now. We premiered the show in La Jolla, California, and broke all records out there for 4 months. And fortunate enough to bring it to New York.
Now, the part of the show is about you had a hit record with another group, and then you went over to the Four Seasons. Is that correct?
That's right. I was 15 years old, and I had a song called Who Wears Short Shorts, which was a group I was in from high school called the Royal Teens, Bergenfield, New Jersey. And that was the beginning. And from there on, Frankie Valli and the Four Seasons, and off we went.
Were you all Italian guys in the Four Seasons?
Yeah, Four Seasons are all Italian. Yep, there's Tommy DeVito and Nick Massey, who's passed on, Frankie Valli and myself.
Wow, so I'm excited to come and see this show, Bobby. I wish you good luck with the show. Would like to have you on live and hang out with the Wise Guys some Wednesday night. And thanks for being on the Wise Guy Show.
Thank you, Ciarcia. We'll be there. Thank you.
Ciarcia here for the Wise Guy Show. I see a real good-looking wise gal here. And your name is?
Nicole Trow Bronstein.
Nicole Trau-Bronstein.
Right. Is that a nice name?
Are you related to this pain in the neck guy over here that Wise Guys? What's the name of his thing?
Wise guys, black guys, and rabbis.
Right.
We coined the phrase about 6 years ago, and he's been interviewing lots of people for the past 6 years on radio and television. He's funny. He's a funny guy. And he's a wise guy, a black guy, and a rabbi.
And what do you do with that show?
I produce it.
Oh, so you produce this show. Very good.
Heart and soul into this show.
This is Ciarcia here for the Wiseguy Show. We're one of the greatest legends in boxing. We're at the Don King Roast for the Friars Club, and I'm speaking with
Bert Sugar, I think it is. Wait a minute, I looked in my suit. Cy Sims, really, Cy Sims. It says so in my jacket.
What's going on, Bert?
Well, we're here for the Don King Roast, and this is fun. I mean, I haven't seen organization like this since the last fire drill. This is China by the Chinese. I don't know what's going on here, Cha-Cha, but it's fun. The people here, I'll tell you, one of the fun things is I was there when Kreskin, the amazing Kreskin, comes over. He's 820 years old, and he says, I've been following you and your writing since I was a youth. That's got to tell you something about my age.
What are you doing? I hear you're doing movies, you're doing a little writing.
Well, I've got a new book coming out in December called Boxing's Greatest Fighters, where I rate them 1 to 100, pound for pound throughout history. I have a show on ESPN Classic. I mean, they wouldn't put an old fogey like me on anything but classic, called Ringside. Gets the biggest ratings in ESPN Classic. I've also got other things I'm doing for HBO, and I write for several magazines, and other than that, hello.
Very good. We'd like to have you live on the Wise Guy Show and hang out with the Wise Guys, because you're a real wise guy, Bert.
I got to tell you, to that end, Cha-Cha, I just was speaking at a police function the other night, and I said to the police, I said, in New York, you have a law that says exotic dancers must cover up part of their buttocks. Why can't you have that same law apply to my cable repair guy? I also asked him, I said, if you arrest Marcel Marceau or a professional mime, one of those people who just acts out what he's doing, you have to tell him he has the right to remain silent?
Bert, I want to thank you for being on the Wise Guy Show. It's Cha-Cha for the Wise Guy Show, Sirius Satellite Radio. I'm here with the Honorable Mayor Dinkins.
Hi, buddy.
I understand you're an actor.
No, I didn't say I was an actor. I said what I have is I'm a member of SAG and AFTRA, and I've done little bits here and there.
And how'd you get your SAG cut?
Well, I get just enough dues from something I did with Cosby to pay my dues. The money that comes in, get about $80 or $90 a year.
I hear that they're going to bring you on The Sopranos.
Well, I'm ready. I want to play a judge.
You want to play a judge on The Sopranos?
Right.
You hear that David Chase Dinkins wants to play a judge.
I'm going to tell David next week when we go to work.
Well, you ask him if he knows what David means. David means beloved. So if he's got any real style, you know, he'll put me on there to play a judge on The Sopranos.
You hear that, David Chase? If you got any style, you'll hire David Dinkins to play on The Sopranos.
And I'll have my agent call him tomorrow.
Thanks for being on the Wise Guy Show.
Thank you, buddy.
It's Cha-Cha from the Wise Guy Show, the Sirius Satellite Radio. I'm sitting at the Friars Club with the Don King Roast with one of the most powerful guys in Hollywood. And your name?
David Brown, also of New York. I'm a producer of Broadway shows, currently Dirty Rotten Scoundrels on Broadway, starring John Lithgow, and more movies than you have time to count.
I know The Sting was one of my favorite movies.
And Jaws, and The Player, and most recently Chocolat.
Wow. So you got a lot of history in Hollywood.
I've got history and longevity. I'm 90 years old and I'm still working.
God bless you.
Thank you, sir.
We'd love to have you live and hang out with the Wise Guys.
I love to be live. Trust me.
This is Cha-Cha here for the Wise Guy Show, Sirius Satellite Radio. I'm sitting with Smokin' Joe and Smokin' Marvin here. Father and son team. I mean, are you the only father and son heavyweight team in boxing?
I would think that, well, we're not going to go to this other guy who making these movies about the sons and daughters. I think it was me who have the sons and the daughter in the boxing world. And they all can fight too, trust me.
Well, your whole Frazier family were all great fighters.
Oh, they're great fighters, they're great athletes, you know what I mean? I think I start the family off, by being the athletes, so therefore they all just get carried away. Basketball, his daughter played basketball, my daughter played basketball. Now the young one, other one, now she's fighting.
Your brother Tommy, is he still around?
Tom is still there. Tom runs the limousine service, I couldn't do it, so Tom took over, and he carried on to the highs.
Tell Tommy the wise guy say hello. He's a great guy.
I'll tell Tom the wise guy say hello. He ain't too bad himself. He's pretty sharp, Tommy.
Could I say hello to Marvis?
Sure, you must.
Thanks for being on, Joe. I'm sitting here with Marvis Frazier.
Hey, you know what they say, from the root to the fruit?
Yeah, but you had you had some heavy footsteps to follow. And how did you feel like, coming into the boxing world behind your father? Did you feel that you had to prove something, or what was your attitude coming in?
Well, you only a man that remains his own man is a man that mankind can respect. And with my father, everybody said, well, what was it like being in the shadow of Joe Frazier? And I said, I always thought I was standing in the light.
Very good. Thanks for being on the Wise Guy Show, Marvis. What are we going to say to Don today?
Well, I'm going to say, Don, hey, God bless him and have a smile upon him. I would suggest that he get a haircut, but...
I just got a haircut and shave after 30 years.
Well, that's all right.
Thanks, Marvis.
Hey, why don't you go see where you got to go? It's the Wise Guys Show on Sirius 104. Live from Sirius Studios in New York City, it's the Wise Guys Show on Sirius 104.
Why? What's the matter, Rick?
No, it's only 20 years ago.
I said if Rick's coming out, we got to play the song from Ghostbusters. Ladies and gentlemen, here, live on the Wise Guy Show, the legend, Rick Moranis. How you doing, legend? How are you?
I don't know if I'm legend, but...
Yeah, legend.
You are.
But
You're a
thank you.
legend.
Thank you
and you've
very
been
much.
around.
I have been.
You've been around. You've been doing the movies, and without even looking at your resume, Little Shop of Horrors, Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, Ghostbusters.
Yeah, made Disney a lot of money, didn't I?
What was it, Spaceballs?
Mel Brooks, Spaceballs, that was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
What do you mean, you only made Disney a lot of money? Why, you're broke?
No, he's doing okay.
You heard of trickle-down economics? It doesn't happen with Disney. There's no trickling.
Floyd likes to always ask our guests a question.
Oh, yeah.
Ask him.
Where do your people come from?
Canada, eh?
Canada.
Yeah, you're from Canada.
Yeah, I'm from Toronto.
Didn't you have that famous beer commercial?
Well, Dave Thomas and I were the McKenzie brothers, the two, Bob and Doug McKenzie. How's it going, eh? Those two guys.
Right.
Yeah.
And we did commercials for beer a few years ago.
Where are you from in Canada? Toronto?
I'm from Toronto, the suburbs of Toronto.
I was just up there for the film festival. Toronto's really doing really good with the movies now.
Oh, yeah. Well, the dollar is...
They take away all our work, but, we go up there and work. We go up there.
Yeah.
You worked up there.
Oh, yeah. Well,
what
we
movies
did...
you do up there?
We did the McKenzie Brothers movie up there, Strange Brew.
Yeah.
Back in '83. I did a lot of television. I started in radio, and I grew up in Toronto, and I started working in radio in Toronto. And then when I got into television, it was in Toronto, and then I was asked to join SCTV, Second City Television.
Yeah.
And we produced that in Edmonton. You ever been to Edmonton? Edmonton is
hockey
in.
town.
That's where Gretzky
That's
wound
Calgary.
up. Right.
Yeah.
It's Alberta. It's 400
Alberta.
miles north of.
It's on the
I
West
said
Coast.
Calgary, Alberta.
Yeah,
On the West Coast.
it's inland from the West Coast, but it's far west. It's
near Ottawa.
No, Ottawa is in Ontario. Ottawa is near.
You don't know. I worked in Murdochville. You ever hear that town?
Murdochville, I haven't been to.
The Gaspé Peninsula.
Gaspé, of course.
Per se, I worked every tank town up there, Matan.
I was in Calgary.
If you've been to Calgary, you were close to Edmonton,
Okay.
relatively
and
close.
isn't there a place, Regina and all this?
Regina.
Regina. Can I ask you something?
Yeah, sure.
How do you say your last name?
Moranis.
It's not Moranis?
No.
Did anybody ever say Moranis?
In grade 6.
Okay.
Is it a Greek name?
Welcome to the Wise Guy Show.
Shine box. Is that Greek? Is that
You know, I get asked that a
Greek or
lot.
Lithuanian?
I get asked that a lot. They were Russian, and I think it had been a longer name or something, the name of the town. It got chopped and everything. But for a while, there was a newspaper in Astoria that used to write about me all the time as a Greek-American actor, and I'm not Greek and I'm not American. I mean, I'm an American resident,
Right.
but I'm a Canadian, and I'm not Greek. But I get great service in Greek restaurants.
You know what Canada means? How they named Canada, Canada?
No, how did they name Canada, Canada?
The Portuguese named it. Ica nada. Ka meaning here and nada is nothing. No, I'm not trying to do a joke. No. Seriously, I never met a Canadian yet who knows this.
Here's nothing.
Well, how do you know it?
Because I'm a man of, I read.
Trivial information.
The last book you read was Richie Rich.
No, I read.
And the
meets Lulu.
Archies.
I read. Rick, talk to us about your new album. You
I got
an
an
album. It's a CD because we don't call them albums no more, right?
No, we don't call them albums.
It's a CD. I don't know. What do you
I don't
call
know.
them?
I don't know.
It
It's
ain't a
CD.
45.
You got a CD,
It's
yeah.
a CD.
Yeah, it's a CD.
An album is like if you open up and there's pictures in it.
No, an album is a...
No, I know what an album used to be.
Right.
I mean, come on.
No, but the origin of that was people, you could only get 1 or 2 songs on a 78.
Right.
And so you would put several 78s in...
Or 745.
A book.
In a book, when the book was an album of records.
Oh, okay.
But, then when they came out with long-playing
33 and a half,
LPs, they still
started to
called them
call them
albums.
albums.
But people still call CDs albums. But anyway, doesn't matter.
So you got a CD out.
I did
or an
a-
album.
I did an album of 78s, a booklet full of 78s. No, I did an album of comedy/country songs. It's called The Agoraphobic Cowboy. And I don't know if they're going to play anything from
I
it.
hope so.
Oh, yeah, we are.
But I don't know. My kids were listening to a lot of bluegrass music in the house, and it got in my head, and I started writing some tunes, and then a couple of people heard them and said, boy, you should do something with this. And we did. I got talked into doing this, and I'm really glad I did.
What does agoraphobic mean? I'm not being stupid. I don't know.
No. The term fear of the agora.
Oh.
The
that's what I
agora
thought.
being the marketplace. So it's come to mean fear of outdoors, phobias of crowded outdoor places. Now, I'm not agoraphobic. I mean, you got me here. If I were agoraphobic, I wouldn't have left my apartment. But it just felt like the right thing because of a couple of songs that I had done on the album, one of which I think you're going to hear, and it was just sort of the mixture of the mythological cowboy figure that looks for adventure out in the open range versus me, who stays home for all of his adventure.
Okay.
Is that clear, guys?
Yeah,
Did I confuse
You
it?
got to go through it a couple of times with these guys.
But you have musicians backing you up.
I have professional musicians. I did this with a guy in Brooklyn named Tony Shear, a brilliant musician. Plays jazz, plays rock, plays absolutely everything. Has a studio in his house, heard these tunes, said he wanted to record them. He plays guitar, he produced it, he arranged it, he engineered it. At one point he was playing guitar and engineering with his feet. I've never seen anything like it. We brought in a banjo player, a fiddle player, and a couple of bluegrass sounding things, and it just was a blast.
So where do you see your music being played?
Now you sound like my mother. So what are you doing this for? Where is this going? What is this?
Tell me something. What's the
Why
difference between a fiddle and a violin?
I don't know. I think a fiddle is a little bit smaller, and I think that fiddling is what they do in country music, and violining is what they do at Avery Fisher Hall.
I thought fiddling was jerking off.
No,
stop.
Fiddling is 3
So
strings,
Rick,
and violin is 4 strings.
So where do you see your music being played? What kind of a venue besides Sirius?